let's start with invocation prayer. Sahana Bhavatu.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 10. We'll chant verses 25 to 30.
महर्षीणां भृगुरहम् गिरामस्म्येकमक्षरम् यज्ञानां जपयज्ञोऽस्मि स्थावराणां हिमालयः अश्वत्थः सर्ववृक्षाणां देवर्षीणां च नारदः गन्धर्वाणां चित्ररथः सिद्धानां कपिलो मुनिः उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम् आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामधुक् प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम् पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमः संयमतामहम् प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालः कलयतामहम् मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहम् वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम्
So last week we concluded with verse number 25. Am I correct?
Middle of verse 25 mg. The Om was concluded.
Yeah. So of the great sages, I'm just reading the translation and will quickly recap. Of speech, I'm the monosyllable Om. Of yajnas, I am Japayajna. Of immovables, Himalaya. So we saw the symbolism behind Om. We read from Swamiji's book last week. So why it is selected? It's nothing but a symbol. It's an idol. It's a subtle idol or a symbol which represents supreme reality. So what qualities it has? So all that we read last week. And of Yajnas, I am Japayajna. So that also was part of that explanation. So in meditation, you chant the mantra Om, which is equivalent of killing beads. So I think all religions they have, where you rotate beads with your hands. So that rotation of beads or chanting of that mantra Om, it represents the single thought. In fact, all your thoughts, they have been reduced to single pointed thought, Om. And that Om will eventually take you to the ultimate state of self realization. Or rather, when you stop the chanting of Om, Om is the last thought. So, when last thought is over, you're done with it. That's what a seeker does when we chant. Om is followed by silence. Those who have been to the academy, those who have attended the retreats which we do here, we always meditate for a few minutes just to get a taste of it. What is the practice all about? So it is, Om is nothing but sound. It is followed by silence. So all our thoughts, they have converged to one single thought, which is represented by Om. And intellect is observing that chant. So it is the last spiritual practice. There is nothing beyond that. And that last chanting of Om, when you pause the chant, in that silence is our essential personality, divinity. So therefore it is called as I am Japayajna, the most powerful chant, you can say. So these are the main points which we covered last week. So any clarifications from verse number 25? All right. Verse number 26, please.
अश्वत्थः सर्ववृक्षाणां देवर्षीणां च नारदः गन्धर्वाणां चित्ररथः सिद्धानां कपिलो मुनिः अश्वत्थः सर्ववृक्षाणां देवर्षीणां च नारदः गन्धर्वाणां चित्ररथः सिद्धानां कपिलो मुनिः.
Translation. Ashwatha, people tree of all trees, and of celestial sages Narada. So Krishna is continuing. Of Gandharvas Chitraratha, of Siddhas sage Kapila. So again, he's pointing out best of manifestations to educate us on the all-pervading nature of supreme reality. So why Ashwatha? He says, I am Ashwatha, tree of all trees. Ashwatha tree is nothing but a fig tree. The Indian name, Sanskrit name is people. English name is FIG. It's part of fig family. It's like massive, huge. And some of the trees are said to be 1,000 or 2,000 year old, which is equivalent of what we have in Yosemite National Park. I think most of us have been there. They are said to be 500 to 600 years old. Has anybody seen those trees? Yosemite National Park. It's massive. One tree, actually, they have dug a tunnel, like car can go through that. So Yosemite Park trees, they grow vertically. People tree grows horizontally. That's the difference. So it is compared to supreme reality. That is the symbolism. And it is quite well explained in the book. I am just going to read a small paragraph. So those who have the book, you can open to page number 637. Verse 26, I am reading the commentary from the book. Ashwatha refers to the people tree, ranks the most sacred of all trees. The Ashwatha shares some common characteristics with Brahman, supreme reality. Brahman is immortal, eternal, everlasting. The people tree also is considered everlasting because of its very long lifespan. Further, Brahman is all pervading. The people's branches and foliage spreading out widely resemble this quality of Brahman. Again, the knowledge of Brahman gives infinite solace to seekers. The tree reflects this attribute as it provides maximum shade and comfort to weary travelers. These common traits explain Krishna's identification with Ashwatha. So, useful information, especially ladies in India, they worship people tree, traditional Orthodox. Even now, it's a big ritual. I think North India, it is called as Karwa Chauth. They, or whatever it is called. Throughout India, it is ladies they worship. So now you know what are you worshipping. It's nothing but a symbol of supreme reality. And then he says, I am Narada of celestial sages. So again, this particular gentleman is a household name in India. I mean, no Indian would need explanation on this. So he was a messenger of gods, the most faithful messenger of gods, and he was a frequent traveler between heaven and earth. It's all symbolic. There is no such person, there is no such travel possible. So there is a powerful message for you and me. And he's known for his dynamism, his energy, also very naughty, very mischievous person. So through his energy, through his dynamism, he conveyed the application of Vedanta in day-to-day life. That's what it is all about. And he was always with Vishnu, with Supreme Reality. And there are many stories. I mean, I'm not getting into the details, but two stories. I mean, everybody knows that. So I thought it fits into the context. So how he was mischievous and how he conveyed the message for all of us, for the entire humanity. That's what the story is all about. So one day he was on planet Earth in one of his trips, and he saw one holy person. He was meditating under the same tree, people tree. In fact, under the tamarind tree. And then as Narayana appeared, he used to always chant Narayana, Narayana. It means supreme reality, supreme reality. That's what it means. So when this holy man opened his eyes and he saw sage Narada, and he asked him, Sir, what is the message from Vishnu, the supreme reality for me? I mean, is there any hope? Will I get salvation? Am I on the right path? So he said, I will let you know. Then he went to the next village. Another holy man, he was also meditating under a tree. And he also asked him, Sir, what's the message for me from the God? He said, I will let you know in my next visit. So he came back after a couple of weeks and he went to the first gentleman who was sitting under the tamarind tree. Now, there are no tamarind trees in America, at least I'm not aware of. Do we have? Even in California, usually we get everything in California, but tamarind tree is not possible. So tamarind tree has got, you can't count the leaves. One leaf is, I don't know how to explain it, like our nail finger, no? Half the nail is one leaf. So they are that tiny. And it's a massive tree, it's a huge tree. So how many leaves must be there? You can't count. So the first holy man, he asked Narada, so what is the message from the God for me, from the supreme reality, Mr. Vishnu, like how much time I have left till I attain enlightenment. To which Narada said, you have a long way to go. As many lives as there are trees, there are leaves on the tamarind tree. I mean, you can't count. So, to which that gentleman, he got up and he started dancing with joy. He said, at least there is some finite number. Though it is infinite, but there is, if somebody wants to count, you can count. So there is some hope for me. So thank you know. And then he went to the second holy man. He also asked the same question, so how much time is left for me? To which he said, I got an amazing news for you, great news. This is your last life. So he also got excited. And he said, okay, thank you for telling me. And he left and went where? In American context, he went to Las Vegas. He said, let me have the blast, last life is left, I mean, why waste time? So the message here is the gentleman who went to Las Vegas or wherever he went, we don't know, he was never a true seeker. In fact, he had come to spiritual path because of some worldly problem. Maybe home there was not getting along with his wife, and he was fed up with his profession and all that. A self-centered man, he approached spirituality with selfish interest. The attitude itself was selfish. I want liberation. What is the liberation? You cannot get along with your own family members and you want liberation. Liberation is getting along with the whole world, identification with the whole world. So, self centered, result oriented, materialistic, sensual person, he had parked himself in the wrong field. So, that's the message as far as the gentleman 2 is concerned. But the first gentleman, he was a true seeker. Why he was a true seeker and why he started dancing when Narada told him, you got thousands of lives to go. So you have to think. All these stories, they are meant us to think. Why he started dancing with joy. Why he embraced his sadhana for many, many lives. So what is the symbolism behind that? What is the message you and I learn from that his ecstasy? He started dancing with joy.
He was sure he was on the right path.
You on the right path, correct? Very good. But gentleman 2 also was on the right path, so-called right path. So you're not wrong, correct. To begin with, this is a very good answer. What else?
He did not lose interest. Sorry.
He did not lose interest. Yeah, I mean, no way. In fact, other way around. His interest became more pronounced, in fact. So the joy, why he started dancing with joy.
Because he was a true seeker.
I mean, of course, but what is it which made him a true seeker? That's the question.
He didn't have the desire to get there. He was just sufficient with, knowing he's on the right path.
Excellent. I'll give you 10 out of 10 marks this time, Tina. Good, good. See, who is a true seeker? Who has no result orientation at all. In fact, any aspect of life, nothing to do with the spiritual path. You just do what you ought to do. At home, you do your obligatory duties to the best of your ability without getting result oriented. You come to the spiritual path, same attitude you follow. You just do what you have to do. There is no expectation, there is no result orientation, there is no anxiety, there is no worry, there is no nothing. So the word which we often use is kruta krutyasya bhavana, satisfaction of having done what ought to be done. That itself is happiness. Happiness is not apart from this. This is what we all believe. If I get that, I'll be happy. If this happens, I'll be happy. This is a misunderstanding of the concept of contentment or joy or happiness. Whatever obligations you have in life, at home, at work, we all are spiritual seekers. Make sure you're on the right path. Understand that your intellect knows what it is doing. You plan, you program everything meticulously, and then you plunge into action. And that satisfaction means happiness. That means joy. That means contentment. So, contentment, happiness is not something which you are going to enjoy in future. So, you enjoy it now. How you enjoy it? Just doing what you ought to do, the best of your ability. See, take sample of a day just to understand the concept. Imagine from the day you got up till you hit the bed, everything you did to the best of your ability, whatever it is. Got up in the morning, washed your face properly, maybe massage your gums. My guru often he mentions, you must see his teeth. Can't understand his spiritual status, at least looking at his teeth, you must get inspiration. It's like pearls. And he's 99. At 25, 30, cavity and this and that, God only knows how many problems we have. So it doesn't happen overnight. Every day in the morning and before he hit the bed, he massages his teeth, gums. I'm giving you an example, in the context. So every aspect of your life, you did your exercise, you ate right food, you did not overeat, did not fight with your partner, A to Z, everything to the best of your ability. You did your study and all that. So how would you feel when you hit the bed? It's psychology. How would you feel?
Happy. Satisfied.
Contentment, happiness, right? That satisfaction of having done what ought to be done.
Ought to be done.
So that's the message in that story. The first gentleman, the second gentleman was like full of result oriented. So as a seeker, as a human being, it doesn't matter whatever you do. You must do what you ought to do to the best of your ability without any result orientation. So that's the message. So it's a very famous story. The second story is also very interesting. So one day his boss, Vishnu, the supremost God, God of gods, there is no such personality. There is no Mr. Vishnu. Especially a lot of Indians, they will find it very hard to believe what I am saying. Since childhood, your grandmother has told you, this is what I thought till I was 22, 23. So Vishnu means supreme reality. That's the literal meaning of the word. Vishnu means supreme reality. That's the English translation. So Narada was always with Mr. Vishnu. And Mr. Vishnu one day told him, there is a farmer in a particular village, Ann Arbor, let's say. There's a farmer in Ann Arbor in Michigan. He is the foremost devotee of me. To which Nada said, sir, what are you talking? I'm with you all the time. No, he's far superior to you as far as his devotion is concerned. So Narada got confused, what's happening, I thought I was the foremost devotee and suddenly who is this competition? He said, okay, I will give you a simple exercise and then you'll understand what I am saying. So he said, you carry a pot of oil on your head and you go on a trail, go on a hike, 3-4 days. So he came to, I don't know, Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, go on a 12-mile trek, carrying pot of oil on his head in the hilly terrain, and you should not drop a single or a drop of oil, you should not spill. You get the point. That was the test. So Narada went on that hike and he came back, not even a drop of oil spilled from that pot on his head. So he thought he passed the test. He said, "See, am I not the foremost devotee of yours?" So he asked Narada, "So how long did it take you complete the trek?" 5 days. How many times did you think of me? Sir, not even once. I was so engrossed in that, carrying that pot. To which he said, "Now you know." See, that farmer, he is doing his duty day in and day out. And at least 5 times in a day, he remembers me. Don't take it literally. 5 times meaning all the time. So he's also doing his job. He's a very good farmer. You also did an excellent job. 10 out of 10 marks for whatever task you did. But you did not think of supreme reality once. So therefore, see, all of you know the moral of the story. What's the moral of the story? It's a roundabout way of conveying which we usually say in one sentence. But these stories are powerful, you know. So what's the moral of the story?
While doing all the work, your focus should be on the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Narad was result oriented.
No, but he did his job. Great. 10%, 100% marks.
Mind
In
on
fact, he
God.
was not result oriented. Therefore, he could do the job. If there was anxiety, worry, anxiety, he would have spilled oil. So he was not result oriented.
Mind on God, work in hand. There's a
Sorry?
mind on God, work in hand. It's a phrase from you guys that means that. I don't remember the Hindu words, but I read it the other day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're getting close.
Stay with your ultimate goal.
One last chance.
In all
See, it
things,
doesn't, just Tim.
in all things we do, keep our mind on supreme reality.
Excellent. See, it does not matter what you do in life. Where are your thoughts? Narada, he is in a spiritual environment, right? But where are his thoughts? Not 24/7. That's the message he's trying to give to Narada, meaning to all of us. But farmer, he is he's a so-called worldly person. This is what common people they have that misunderstanding that this is spiritual path, this is worldly path. So when I'm in a temple or a church, I'm spiritual because I'm thinking of the supreme reality. But when I'm with my family, when I'm at my work, and when I'm whatever I'm doing, how can I be spiritual? So he's demolishing that myth. There is no such thing. There is no such thing called as spiritual path, worldly path. All of you know this concept. So what makes you spiritual is where are your
Focus.
thoughts. Farmers' thoughts were all the time on the supreme reality. Narada, 0% awareness of supreme reality, got completely entangled in whatever task he is doing. So therefore, it does not matter what you do, who you are, where you are. It has got nothing to do with your spiritual status. This is a misunderstanding. You may be in a temple, you may be in a church, you may be in an attire like me, but clean miss the supreme reality. Thoughts could be very worldly. So therefore, where are your thoughts? So farmers' thoughts were firmly planted on the supreme reality, and then he went on whatever obligations he was doing. So it's a very powerful message through that story. And there are many stories. I mean, at some stage we have to say enough, So first story, what is the message? Just do what you ought to do. If you can understand that word, kruta krutyasya bhavana. I mean, I can't spell it. It's impossible to spell that word, Satisfaction of having done what ought to be done. That means contentment. There's a definition of contentment in life. And second story, the moral is, where are your thoughts? So it doesn't matter what you do in life. So that was the character of Narada, So by his life, by his energy, he inspired people. Narada is nothing but you and me. So you become a reference point for others wherever you go. If you are applying these higher values in your day-to-day life, if your life is based on the values which we learn in the scriptures, so you become a beacon light for others to follow. That's the meaning of he was traveling between heaven and earth. Others don't have that knowledge, but you have that knowledge. So your knowledge, you being established in that knowledge, your peace, your dynamism, your unselfishness, it represents heaven. So at home, you could become a beacon light for others to follow. Or you can, it is other way around. If you're not evolved, I mean, others are not evolved, and you are also fighting with others. I mean, what's the difference? The entire focus is on your own spiritual growth. So that's the character of Narada, and known for his mischief. Gave example how he teased that seeker. You got a long way to go, like that. So mischief, especially in a child, is a sign of intelligence. I mean, all of your parents, most of your parents, a child who is very mischievous, you find out if they are directed in a right direction, they turn out to be like brilliant in their life. So it's a sign of intelligence, mischief. In adults, you can use the word lightheartedness. A person who is spiritually evolved is always lighthearted. I mean, you feel that way. Manifestation depends on the situation. I mean, I know this doesn't need an explanation, but there are people, few people, they may misunderstand. You cannot be light-hearted with your boss in the office. That is out of place. Can't be mischievous with him, If you go to meet Pope, you can't be mischievous with the Pope. I mean, you have to have that reverence and respect. He may choose to be mischievous with you. That is okay. That is his prerogative. You can't be light-hearted with the Pope. You can't be light-hearted with your guru, So there you maintain that decorum, but you have that attitude of lightheartedness. Why you are lighthearted? Because there is no selfishness. So lightheartedness is a sign of unselfishness in a person. You get my point? Cheer. In layman's language, you are full of cheer, you're full of mirth. You can be cheerful only when you have no worries, no anxiety, isn't it? And only when you are unselfish or selfless, you will not have worry and anxiety. Selfish person, how can he be cheerful? It's not possible. So that's the message for all of us. So there is no such character called as Narada. He's a mythology. So Narada is nothing but you and me. So are you with me?
Swamiji, sorry, Amiji.
Yes, please.
So when you say manifestation depends on the situation, you mean the manifestation of this focus on supreme reality, right? Or the focus on the spiritual growth. What when you say what is this, the manifestation piece? What is
No,
it
that
you're referring?
cheerfulness I'm talking about,
Oh,
cheerfulness.
okay.
The manifestation depends on the situation. Therefore, I give example. You can't crack a joke when your boss is making a presentation. I'm lighthearted. So therefore, CEO is making a presentation and some silly joke you crack. I'm magnifying. You understand? You go to meet a pope. You have to approach him with respect and reverence. I mean, you can't joke with a pope. You know. You get my point. So you need to use your intellect. At home, you could be mischievous. Obviously, depends on the partner's mood. Partner is in a bad mood. Don't be lighthearted. You know, there also you could. So it is directed by your intellect if required, but inside you are full of cheer. But intellect decides when to manifest, if at all manifestation is required. I mean, you can go on multiplying example. I mean, you can't go to a funeral and be lighthearted there. I mean, I can't magnify beyond this. What's in the life, I mean, doesn't matter. I mean, people, you'll get shot literally, you know. What nonsense, they will say, keep your philosophy. So in that sense, Nina, I'm giving examples, silly examples. So are we okay? 27, please.
उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम् उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम्.
Translation: of horses know me as Uchchai Shravasam. It's a tongue twister. Born of nectar. Of lordly elephants, Airavat. He is Indra's elephant. Indra is a god of gods. And of men, the king. So again, it's like interesting story. Today there are a lot of stories. So, but each story has got a powerful message. So when he says of horses know me as Uchchai Shravasam, see, all the Indians, they will know what I am talking about. They may not know the meaning behind that. So he is talking about the famous story from Purana. Is called as Amrut Manthan, or also it is called as Sagar Manthan, churning of the Milky Ocean. That's what it is called. The Milky Ocean was churned by gods and demons to get nectar out of it. So nectar symbolizes state of self-realization. That is all. And gods and demons is nothing but positive and negative tendencies in all of us. We all have. Every human being is a combination of higher values and lower values. So only through knowledge you need to churn your mind. You have to study, reflect, and eventually you need to contemplate. Then only you can get the state of self-realization. So that is what that episode of churning of the Milky Ocean means. It was called as Kshir Sagar. Kshir means milk, Sagar means ocean. Milky Ocean. So Milky Ocean symbolizes a calm, composed, and equanimous mind. A sattvic mind. A sattvic mind is calm, composed. You are equanimous. You're not ruffled by what the world is, what's happening in the world. So even from relative point of view, only when you are calm and composed, you qualify for study, reflection, and eventually contemplation. A disturbed person cannot study, reflect, forget about contemplation and meditation. So therefore, you need to churn your mind. Churn your mind meaning with this knowledge, you have to get higher values. And you have to start reflecting on these values. That is that churning. It's not mechanically we are studying. Question, understand, inquire. No, the spirit of inquiry, your own reflection. That symbolizes churning of the ocean. And to churn that Milky Ocean, they got a huge mountain, Mount Mandara. There is no such mountain, please. It's mythology. So that churning rod, the mount, it was called Mount Mandara. And how they churn, to churn you need a rope. So they got a snake called as Vasuki. Don't ask me how and all. There is a symbolism behind everything. So why did they get huge mountain as a churning rod? Because it symbolizes you need to be active, dynamic, then only you can start reflecting on what is my purpose in life. A lazy person doing nothing, what experiences to think about. So only when you are dynamic, you are busy in the world, you are doing your duties, and then you start questioning like, am I getting happiness from what I am doing? That is that churning. I thought when I get partner, my life will be complete. You may have a wonderful relationship, but you understand, I mean, per se, there is no happiness in that. You wanted money, you got money. Are you happy with money? You want a nice house, you got a nice house. I mean, are you happy with a nice house? So you start a dynamic person while he is doing his duties in the world, you start reflecting. And where is happiness? It's not in the objects and beings of the world. That happiness is inside me. So with this knowledge, you start reflecting on your life's experiences. You start questioning where is true happiness all about. So therefore, they planted symbolically the huge mountain. Huge mountain symbolizes what? A dynamic life. And Vasuka, the rope, was that snake called as Vasuka. So snake represents ego. So you have to crush your ego. Right now, our ego is directed to the world, objects and beings of the world, then my body, my mind, my intellect. From that, it has to turn towards what's your mission in life. So therefore, they planted the snake, the most poisonous snake in the world, Vasuki. It's all mythology. There is no such snake called as Vasuki. You need to conquer your ego. How do you conquer your ego? Again, by churning off your mind, by getting this knowledge. And when you start churning your mind, when you get higher values of life, when you start analyzing your personality, right? A lot of negative tendencies you will become aware of. So when they started churning the ocean, gods on one side, demons on one side, the first thing which came to surface was poison. It's called as halala. Don't worry about all these names. I'm mentioning these names because my Indian friends, they will be inspired. They know since childhood, their grandmother has been telling them all these things. So that poison came to the surface. What is that poison? That poison is nothing but our negative tendencies. We all have, everybody is an admixture of good and bad qualities, positive and negative qualities. And only when you plunge into the world, when you start doing your duties, you understand, yes, I mean, I have a lot of correction to do. When you fight with your partner, you understand that, there is a long way to go in a relationship. So that fight which happens at home, it may be a friendly fight, it may be a serious fight, doesn't matter. Is that poison? When something happens in the workplace, if you entertain negative thoughts about anybody, that is a poison you are bringing to the surface. So you need to be aware of that. You need to address that. If you don't take care of that poison, how will you evolve spiritually? So when they started churning that ocean, India, all the ladies, they make buttermilk at home. So I seen my mother doing that. So when you start churning the ocean, the first thing which came to the surface was the poison. And after poison, lot of good things started coming. So he mentions that Uchcha Shravasam, some like great horse, meaning when you function in the world with these values, the knowledge of Vedanta, you function in the spirit of service and sacrifice. See, you will get everything from the world. People will appreciate you, you will be successful, you will become peaceful, prosperity will be at your doorstep. But there are people who can get lost in that. You see how beautifully the whole thing is there. So therefore, like the moment all these nice things started coming, demons they rushed. They wanted to grab horse, they wanted to grab elephant, they wanted to grab necklace and all that. So it's nothing but you and me. So a true seeker, he is not interested in these things at all. I mean, you have no value. Whatever world throws at you, I mean, it is there. If you get money, if you get success, if you get name, if you get recognition, fine. Why not? But you're not enamored by that. You are focused only on the nectar, the ultimate goal of self-realization. So only when you don't fall a prey, you're not enamored by whatever world throws at you, and world will throw these things at you. If you are genuine, if you function with that spirit of service and sacrifice with these values. But if you are a true seeker, you have no value. Your ultimate value is you're waiting for what? The nectar. So therefore, nectar, the pitcher of nectar, it came in the end. Only when you really churn your mind, then only you qualify to contemplate on that goal of self-realization. It's not going to happen to begin with. To begin with, all your negative tendencies you have to tackle. Then you get established in the spiritual path. You function with this attitude, with higher values in the world. World will throw all the good, positive things at you. You got nothing to do with it. And even the nectar, if you get attached to it, you're in trouble. So that's what happened. When the nectar came, that pitcher of nectar came to the surface, demons, they grabbed it and they stole it and they ran away. That's the story. Meaning you get attached to the goal of self-realization. You become result-oriented. Even at that stage, even at that level of evolution, you could become result-oriented. So you have to say, no, I'll just do what I ought to do. Then only you get that nectar. So that's that churning of the Milky Ocean. Are you with me? I don't know whether I'm explaining it in a clear way. And churning went on for a long time. What does it mean?
Have to get familiar with the process.
Can't hear you.
You have to get familiar with the process and what to expect, once you're churning and just get comfortable with it.
So, I mean, you're right. But my question would be, why should I churn in the first place? Go backward. Why should I go through that process of churning my mind? Why should I study? Why should I reflect? Why should I put efforts?
To
You see how
conquer
the
my
whole thing
ego.
is
Yeah.
interconnected?
To conquer my ego.
For what? Most people, they have fallen in love with their ego.
To have
I,
peace.
my.
You're churning because you want to contemplate and evolve. You want to reach your goal for self-realization, so you keep churning.
Good, we almost given the answer. See, that churning, it went on for a long time, meaning you have to have clarity of your goal. What's your goal? It could be relative, it could be absolute, doesn't matter. Relative goal is, yes, I want to become a better human being. Absolute goal is, I want to reach the state of enlightenment. It doesn't matter. So, unless and until there is that clarity of goal, you will not be consistent in your spiritual path. You will not be consistent in your efforts. You get the point? Slightest excuse and you will be sucked into the world. This is what is happening to most people. Slightest excuse. Children, they are gone. December, you can't reach any parent here. You know. After that, Christmas comes, everybody is gone. If they really are, they are focused on Christ, great. I mean, that's what we are discussing. But how many are actually doing that? Some baby shower, you're gone. Wedding, gone. Outings, gone. Your friend mentions, I'm going on a Viking cruise. Already I've been 5 times, 6 times I joined them. Yeah, I'm magnifying these examples. Don't take it literally. So the slightest excuse is enough to deviate from your efforts. Why you cannot be consistent with your efforts? Because there is no clarity of goal. Why there is no clarity of goal? You haven't understood the importance of this knowledge. Why haven't you understood the importance of this knowledge? Because you cannot correlate your problems in life, whatever you are facing in life, everybody goes through ups and downs, to the lack of this knowledge. If you understand all my problems are due to my ignorance, we all will make a beeline for this knowledge, isn't it? So since you don't understand what this knowledge does to you, so we had youth sessions a few weeks back, I think Vijay, Indu, is Indu here? Are you there, Indu? No, she is not here. So she took initiative. I think Vijay planted a thought. I'm sure about that. And Raji must have watered that thought. And then they talked to Indu and they got, I don't know, 18, 20 youngsters from the age group of 9 to 16, 17. Last week, 2 weeks, we had 2-part lecture series for the youth. Now, why I'm mentioning this? So one of the girls, Vijay talked to her, right? So that girl asked Vijay, Uncle, I mean, if I will come, but do I have to pray there? No, or will you be doing some puja there? Will there be some ritual there? That's what our parents are telling her. That their understanding of religion is doing some ritual. Hardly anybody understands scripture is nothing but a knowledge of life and living. Do you get my point? That's the reason no youngster comes near this knowledge. It's rare. The parents themselves don't know scriptures. It is nothing but instructions manual for life. So once you don't have that clarity, you can't correlate. Whatever is happening in my life is due to lack of this knowledge. So therefore, your goal is not clear. If goal is not clear, how can you be consistent in your spiritual path? It's not possible. if there is no consistency of efforts, your efforts will be haphazard. You will not commit to systematic and methodic study of this knowledge. And again, there are no shortcuts. See, we are still talking about churning continued for a long time. It's a lifelong exercise. It's not that on the weekend you churn and nectar will come. I wish it was like that. It's a lifelong process. But if you're like that hermit one in Narada's story, then you enjoy that process day in and day out. I mean, you can, if you don't believe me, you can ask. There are a number of people here. They have got a test of that disciplined life. Every day in the morning, they are getting up and studying. So that process itself of churning is so enjoyable. And why are you doing that? Because you have that clarity of goal. So without clear goal, your attempt to study will be haphazard and your growth also will be haphazard. So that's what is symbolized by churning continued for a long time, you know. And once you have commitment, everything falls into place. That's the beauty. Meaning providence will support your efforts. The practical example I am giving you. Initially, it will test you. This temptation, that temptation. But if you overcome all these temptations, right, that doesn't mean you live a life of a recluse. It doesn't mean that. So you don't deviate from your goal. Providence supports you, supports your efforts. It's amazing. And then the nectar comes, then the happiness comes, then you start enjoying life, you become cheerful, and it concludes in a state of enlightenment. That is that picture of nectar. So that's the story all about Amrut Manthan or Sagar Manthan. A fascinating story. I mean, I heard this story at the age of 6, 7, home people discuss, but I never knew the meaning. You know? Only when I joined Vedanta Academy at the age of 25, 26, I understood what it means. I used to scoff at my mother, grandmother. What, some superstitious belief, where is this Milky Ocean? Show me, then only I believe. How can poor ladies, they can't answer those questions. They have devotion, that is a positive side, but they cannot explain, And any youngster, he wants to tell me, tell me. So that churning happens inside us throughout life with this knowledge. Today was a storytelling day. Once in a while, we need that break, from high philosophy. So almost time up. So we're going to watch a quick video, 2-minute video. It's about Vedanta Academy retreat, which we do in India twice a year, and it is exclusively meant for study class students like all of you. So we'll play that video and then Radha will make some announcement. So Makran, please play the video.
Hari Om. The Vedanta Academy Experience Retreat is held twice a year in January and July for 5 days at the Academy near Mumbai. This retreat is exclusively for study class members and e-learning students. The Vedanta Academy is a conducive and serene environment especially designed by Swamiji. Registration is open for the January 2026 retreat. 30 class members from the New Jersey and Detroit Center have already registered. If you are interested and would like further details, please send us an email to studyclass@vedantamidwest.org. Thank you.
Thank you. So if somebody is interested, they can get in touch with us. If you haven't been to India before, so all the logistics are in place. You don't have to worry. Young girls of 16, 17, they travel alone. So it's absolutely safe. And it will be a good exposure. It's exclusively meant for study class students. So that's what Radha was trying to announce. So you can contact her and she will get back to you. All right, it's 10:32. So any quick questions from today's presentation before we conclude? Okay, great. Have a wonderful weekend and see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amitji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amitji.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.